Ancient Egypt built wonder that still confuse the modern world. The pyramids, the temples, and the tombs of pharaohs. For thousands of years, Egypt stood as one of the greatest civilizations on earth. But hidden inside its story is a strange mystery. Because while the rest of ancient world entered the Iron Age, Egypt seemed left behind. The Greek used iron, the Assyrian used iron, and the Persian used iron. But Egypt, the land of pyramids, stayed tied to bronze. Do you know why? Did Egyptians fail to discover iron? Were they technologically weaker than other civilizations? Or did one of history's greatest empires actually resist a technological revolution? And here's the strangest part, one of the oldest iron weapons found in Egypt didn't come from Earth at all, it comes from space. Tonight, we uncover the real reason Egypt seemed to have no Iron Age and how the collapse of ancient world changed the history forever. Before iron changed civilization, humanity lived in Bronze Age. Bronze was made by mixing copper and tin, and for ancient civilizations, bronze was revolutionary. It created stronger weapons, better farming tools, and powerful armies. Civilizations became richer and more advanced because of bronze. But bronze had one huge weakness, and tin. The tin was very rare. Many kingdoms had copper nearby, but tin often came from far away through the dangerous trade route. That means the entire Bronze Age depended on trade. If the trade collapsed, the bronze production collapsed too, and iron was different. Iron existed almost everywhere in the world. The problem was iron was difficult to work with. Ancient furnaces often couldn't heat iron properly. Early iron weapons were sometimes weaker than bronze, so switching to iron wasn't that simple. And Egypt had even less reasons to change. Ancient Egypt was already one of the richest civilizations in the world. The Nile River created a fertile farmland every year. That farmland supported the huge populations, and those populations supported armies, temples, and giant construction projects. Egypt became stable, powerful, and incredibly successful, and the successful civilizations usually resist changes because why replace a system that already works? So, bronze weapons worked, bronze farming tools worked, and the bronze armor worked. Egyptians' blacksmith had mastered bronze for centuries. Switching to ironwood means rebuilding workshops, retraining craftsmen, and changing military production. And for a material that wasn't even clearly better yet. For Egypt, bronze was enough, and so there was no urgent pressure to switch to iron. Now, here's where the story becomes unbelievable. Egyptians actually used iron long before their true Iron Age began. But this iron couldn't come from mines, it came from meteorites, metal from the outer space. One famous example belonged to Tutankhamun. When archaeologists discovered his tomb, they found a beautiful iron dagger buried inside him. At first, historians were confused because Egypt supposedly had very little iron technology at the time. So, where did the dagger come from? Modern scientists later analyzed the metal and then discovered unusually high level of nickel, a major sign of meteorite iron. The dagger was made from a fallen meteor. To ancient Egyptians, iron literally fell from the sky. Some ancient texts even called it the metal from heaven. So Egypt absolutely knew about iron, but the iron remained rare, scarce, and extremely expensive, not useful for the mass production. Then the disaster struck the ancient world around 1200 BCE. Major civilizations across the Mediterranean suddenly collapsed. Cities were burned and kingdoms were vanished. Trade routes were also failed. So historians call this event the Bronze Age collapse. The Mycenaean Greeks collapsed, the Hittite Empire disappeared, and the entire coastal cities were destroyed. Even Egypt nearly fell. Ancient Egyptian record described invasions by mysterious group known today as the Sea People. Nobody knows exactly who were they, but they had destroyed the old Bronze Age system. And remember, the bronze's greatest weakness was tin. When the trade collapsed, tin became difficult to obtain, and suddenly the civilization needed another option. The iron became answer. Because unlike bronze, iron ore existed almost everywhere. Civilizations no longer dependent on giant trade networks, and the world was changing fast. Egypt eventually entered the Iron Age, but compared to neighboring civilizations, the transition was slower. Why? There are a number of factors, and one of which is geography. Egypt was naturally protected by the deserts and the Nile River. This reduced pressure for rapid military innovation. Number two is the tradition. Egyptian civilization valued stability. In art style, religion, and political system changed very slowly over thousands of years. Larger stable civilization often resist sudden technological changes. And the third factor is economics. Egypt already had a massive bronze industry. Changing everything overnight would have been expensive and disruptive. But eventually, foreign powers forced Egypt to adapt. The Assyrians used iron vapors extensively. Later, Persians and Greeks spread Iron Age technology even further. Egypt slowly became the part of Iron Age world. So, did Egypt skip the Iron Age? And the answer is no, not at all. Egypt used iron, Egypt understood iron, and Egypt eventually entered the Iron Age. But Egypt changed more slowly because Bronze Age Egypt was already one of the most successful civilizations in human history. Its old system worked incredibly well, and maybe that's the real lesson here. Civilizations do not always change when better technology appears.